In this video, you will learn how to connect Office 365 mailboxes to SigParser by adding them to a mail-enabled security group. This allows you to connect multiple mailboxes in your organization with Microsoft 365 admin permissions. Before you begin, you will need access to the following: a SigParser account. Either create an account or have access to your organization's SigParser account with the permissions needed to add users and connect mailboxes. Have admin access for Microsoft Azure and Exchange Admin. Have Windows PowerShell installed and be able to run the application commands on your computer. Have a list of the email addresses you wish to connect and scan in SigParser. And finally, use the instructions page in SigParser to copy and paste the necessary values. To access the instructions page in SigParser, go to Mailboxes, Add, Connect Mailboxes with Admin, Create New Connection, and then select Microsoft 365 Security Group. This page contains the step-by-step instructions for the security group setup and includes input fields for values you will need to establish the connection to SigParser. You also have the option to run the PowerShell script linked here, which will automatically execute the steps. First, you will add members to a mail-enabled security group. Select this link to go to the Exchange Admin Center and create a group. Select Mail-Enabled Security, then go to the next step. We suggest naming the group SigParser Mailboxes so it is easy to identify. You can leave the description blank, then select Next. Assign a group owner by selecting Assign Owners. Group owners have permissions to make changes to the group but will not have their mailbox scanned. Once the group owner or owners are assigned, select Next. Add members to this group by selecting Add Members. This is the list of mailboxes you wish to connect to SigParser and scan. Once you have added group members, select Next. Add a group email such as SigParser Mailboxes, and select the option to require owner approval to join the group. Then select Next. Review that you have created a mail-enabled security group and your owners and members are assigned. Once reviewed, select Create Group. In the section titled Enter a Member Email Address on the SigParser Instructions page, enter an email address from one of the group members you just added. This will be used for testing the connection later on. Next, open Microsoft Azure and select the newly created mail-enabled security group. Copy the object ID and paste it into the text field in the Enter Group Object ID section of the SigParser Instructions page. Next, you will register the SigParser app in Microsoft Azure. Open Microsoft Azure and select New Registration. Name the application SigParser Mailboxes app, select the single tenant option, and leave the redirect URL blank. Then select Register. Now, copy the application client ID and paste it into the corresponding text field in the section Enter App Registration IDs on the SigParser Instructions page. Do the same for the directory tenant ID. Next, you will grant the 5 API permissions shown. In Microsoft Azure, select API Permissions from the menu on the left. Then select Add a Permission. Select Microsoft Graph, then select Application Permissions. Using the SigParser Instructions page for reference, search and select the permissions listed. Once all 5 permissions are selected, click Add Permissions. Then select Grant Admin Consent. Next, select Certificates and Secrets from the menu on the left, and then select New Client Secret. Enter SigParser Mailboxes Secret in the description and choose an expiration date. When expired, you will need to create a new client secret and update it in SigParser in order for SigParser to continue scanning the connected mailboxes. When finished, select Add. Next, copy the client secret value, not the secret ID, and paste it into the text box in the Create and Enter SigParser App Client Secret section on the Instructions page. Next, you will create an access policy for SigParser. In Windows, open Microsoft PowerShell. By pasting the necessary values into the text fields on the SigParser Instructions page, the PowerShell commands will auto-populate with the necessary information. Copy the first command, paste it into PowerShell, and press Enter. Wait for a successful response. You should see a prompt for a new command if the previous command was successful. Repeat the process for the remaining commands. Make sure to enter each command one at a time and wait for a successful response before proceeding to the next. Once you have successfully entered all commands, you may close PowerShell. Finally, you will test the connection. Enter a name such as SigParser connection in the text field in the section Name and Test Connection on the instructions page. Then select Create and Test Connection. Once the connection is established, the associated mailboxes will begin scanning 90 days of history within a few hours. You can manage this connection by going to the Mailboxes page. Here, you can see details on each mailbox and the primary connection that the mailbox is associated with. Click on the primary connection for additional options, such as reconnecting, disabling, or adding additional mailboxes under this connection. Note, if you disable a primary connection, all the associated mailboxes will also be disabled. To purchase additional history scans, select Scan More next to the corresponding mailbox.